Last time on Desperate Attune, the crew assaulted the bitter gourd Bakshis' farm in Gilly Gilly Gully. Mushfiq got an old friend, Taha, to help out with the assault, while Saeeda used the lock porter's connection to the drug trade to learn the name of the Hive lieutenant in charge of the operation, V. Paihar. Mumtaz told Bidrohi about the Dilkhusha Bakshis, a different branch of the family with their own relationship to the Hive. Clem met Tamira in her office and got her to take V. Paihar off the board, but not for free, and not without alerting Tamira's bodyguard, who was also a Bakshi. The crew arranged for Omid and his onagers to double-cross the Hive enforcers, ensuring Bidrohi and his Badmaishas had a clear shot at their enemies. The Badmaishas engaged the enforcers, while Bidrohi took on their leader, Thyrsus Adelaide, in single combat. Saeeda met Iskander Anserekh and V. Paihar at the hotel Mount Himagiri in order to negotiate a peace, even as the war continued to rage. Iskander wanted a peace so that business in the hospitality ghetto can continue, since drugs are very profitable for House Anserekh. Clem and Mushfiq led an assault against the farm, coming up against an enormous wax golem surrounded by Bakshi guards. Mushfiq decided to solve this problem using copious amounts of explosions by jumping out of the poppy fields and throwing a grenade at the golem in close quarters. As a direct result, he was splashed with hot burning wax onto his arm.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Endings. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. The wax golem infiltrates your arm.
New friend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's just, I mean, that's not harm, is it? That's just a thing that is...
That's just a thing that happens unless you resist it,
Okay.
yes. But you also take a level 2 harm, just because it's not possible to like spatter wax on your prosthetic arm without it also getting on your skin, right? So
Yeah. I'll resist the burn, and I'll resist it by...
I think we'll pull it down to a level 1 harm if it's resisted, because I still think it makes sense. This would hurt, but
just prowess resist. Okay, yeah, not too bad. That was a
1
5.
stress.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess you just have 1st degree burns, not 2nd degree burns.
Oh yeah, burns are the higher the degree, the worse they are, right? Not
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah.
Or maybe it is the other way around. I don't remember. But
No,
either way,
you're right.
No, I-
First degree burns are just like easy peasy.
That's still burns, but
Good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
You have a level 1 harm, and you have a screwed up prosthetic arm.
Okay, so one thing that I didn't consider is that my level 1 harms are actually already full, so this wouldn't actually... The level 1 harm, to put it down to a level 1 harm would then put it back up to a level 2 harm.
Okay, you know what? In that case, I'll change the nature of the consequence slightly. Just to not like negate your resistance roll. So
mean,
rather
I
than
guess-
you taking another level 1 harm, yeah?
I mean, it's if the melted wax doesn't hurt him, then maybe it just slows him down as it hardens.
I was thinking that, yeah. So instead of that, we'll frame it kind of as you resisting it turns it into a temporary level 2 harm. So
Okay.
load down. So that will go away at the end of the score, but you have a level 2 harm for now.
Okay.
Level 2 harm. Crusty.
Yes.
He's just a
crusty.
waxy boy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're crusty and you have a sentient arm. This is normal.
Okay.
And Clem, your action I think perfectly chains into this. So a badass explosion goes off behind you, and I think you're trying to convince this woman to stand down. And so, because you have both succeeded before and you're set up, I think that your position is risky and great. And your great effect here is that you can get Mazara to completely turn around, which doesn't completely solve this problem, but she will believe that you are far scarier than the Hive, and she's pretty easy to cow. So Mazara herself will be a non-issue if you succeed here.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. With extreme effect, would I be able to extend that to the others as well?
Yes. I think that's only fair.
Fantastic.
Not the golem, I will add. Like, that's still a problem. But everyone else, like, no human will interfere in this fight if you succeed with extreme effect.
Cool. I will go for extreme effect then, I think.
Okay, risky extreme. Or, well, maybe it's
Yeah.
desperate extreme because you're trading, I don't know. But you start with risky, great.
I think let's push for effect here. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think let's keep it risky extreme.
Very
And
good.
sounds like I'm commanding, doesn't it?
It does.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm happy with that.
Yep.
Flat 3 dice. Oh, damn.
Oh, it's a miss.
It is a
that's
miss.
interesting. Yeah. Okay. I think what happens is you put your arm on her shoulder, you look into her eyes, you know that you have her exactly where you want her, and then Tamira's bodyguard clobbers you from behind and you take a level 2 harm.
Oh.
And he would have taken you out if you weren't Clem. Like, you know.
Oh,
if you
fuck
weren't
this guy.
set
I'm
up.
resisting that.
Yeah.
Oh no. This isn't level 2 harm. This is I'm resisting that. And I have
This is
Meredith's
the first degree burns of of Clementine's.
You have what?
Oh, I have got Meredith's armored long coat, the long coat that I pilched off of Meredith.
So you can mark armor and resist. If you do both, this will completely go away. I mean, this guy still clobbers you and is starting a fight against you, but because I mean, you failed to keep the humans out of the fight, so that just happens still. But he doesn't get any sort of advantage on you if you mark armor and resist.
I think, I'm going to mark armor and then I'm going to resist by catching his wrist and go, I fucking made that move up. You think, who the hell do you think you are?
Yes.
And I guess just because this is the kind of story we're telling, he looks back at you and he goes, Fearless Bakshi. He introduces himself.
Okay, I don't care.
You're
dead, Bakshi.
Bring someone from behind.
Yes.
Feels like prowess, maybe?
Yes, it feels like a prowess resist.
Fantastic.
It's a 6.
Completely unstressed.
Yes, you're good.
Who cares?
Okay, so the golem is half blown up. I think it's missing like an arm and its head, but it's a golem, so it doesn't really care. It has 3 limbs remaining.
1000.
And you are in melee with Firuz. So that's where we pivot back to Saeeda.
Yes, I actually know what I would like to do.
Uh-huh.
Because I think that realizing that I'm a bit drunk, and I may have been a bit indiscreet, I want to see whether I might be able to... Okay, so yes, gang was obviously bad. Definitely agree. But isn't a short gang war better than a long one?
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Iskander and I will say... So I'm not saying that we're going to engage in a gang war. That's obviously bad. But wouldn't you agree that if I was to, like, we've just had this meeting and whatever might have occurred before this meeting may not be occurring now, this is Saeeda very drunk. Would you say that, like, if the gang war ended today, that would be fine?
Yes, I think you can make this move on him.
Yeah.
I think it's now you're not desperate territory. You're still risky. Nothing like really
good.
bad has happened to take this out of control.
Yeah. Because he doesn't know that, like, I've gone and full on attacked the Hive. He probably thinks we've just, like, done some kind of, like, small move, not whatever we did.
Okay,
So,
I'm gonna say risky. I'm wondering whether this is limited or standard. Yeah.
My goal here is that I want him to at least consider that A, because I'm drunk, I'm somewhat honest, but also B, that the war may be unavoidable. And if it is, isn't it better that the victor emerges quickly and then the violence stops?
Yeah, fair. So I think let's call it risky standard, I guess. And what that means is the standard effect, you can get him to, like, begrudgingly agree to this, but I don't think it quite finishes your scene because it like it means you now have a problem with V instead, kind of, because now V is the only loser in the room.
Yeah, so the problem is that originally V and I were on the same side, and then this guy got me drunk. And my experience in real life of being drunk is that you then end up saying things that you really feel very strongly are true, but may in fact be very stupid.
Yeah,
you should duel her to the death.
That's a bad idea. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. That's why she did.
Risky. Let's call it risky standard.
Okay. I will lose a die because I'm drunk.
Yes.
Would you say that this is a brazen lie? Would you say this is the dumbest shit ever? Yeah, right?
Yes.
So I'll gain the die back. No, I can increase the effect. I don't gain the die. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so it's great somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, risky great. I guess you will convince Iskander that you are. I think with great effect, what you will do is you will convince him that you're actually a very effective security force in Bundervest, and it's fine for you to kick other people's asses because you're good at it.
Yeah, indeed. I will then push myself for this die. I think that pushing myself is good.
I'm going to assist you.
Oh, great. How are you assisting me?
Because I'm ending the war quickly.
Yes! Very good. I will name drop. So in order to, like, sell this story, right, I'm going to be like, we have a very disciplined rank and file, but we also have some real rising moons. See what I did there? Yes. Apparently Saeeda puns when they're drunk. So, Bidrohi, for example, he made an incredible showing at the Colosseum, and he's a real, you will hear about him for the next 50 years, and he's my student, etc. So, yeah, hopefully that'll help. So, Sway.
With a +1 total.
Yeah. Should I Desperate Extreme this?
Okay, so what I will tell you is with extreme effect, I think what will happen is you will just get Iskander and House Anserekh fully on your side, and they'll just be like, no one is allowed to do gang wars in Bundervest except you, in the eyes of House Anserekh.
I would like to take a brief aside to demonstrate for the listener that this is literally how authoritarian police states work.
Yes.
They co-opt local resistances, and it makes, like, in that moment, incredible sense to the local resistance, and this is Saeeda's gonna do it. It's gonna be Desperate Extreme.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know what the desperate consequence here is, but I feel like there are many possible ones. So just roll
what it is.
Easy.
What it is a ghost contract. I can tell you that much. Iskander is able to do those.
I love this. Yeah. Okay. So Sway, Desperate, Extreme with 1 bonus die.
Yes.
Because I get 1 from the assist, and I went back to normal because this is a dumb thing to say. Okay. It's a 5. I'll take the 5.
It's a 5.
Yeah.
So, yes. What will happen is that Iskander will consider this, and it's kind of the situation where you can still cop out. I think that's not usually how this works. But he ponders this and he says, that is better. And, sometimes I find you just don't need to mix in complicated elements. Sometimes things are just better straight. he says, and he takes
Simple
out
and
his...
gorgeous, as the tailors in Taka say.
Yes.
Indeed.
And I think he just takes a swig from his bottle of, like, you know, vodka or whatever that is. Very strong stuff.
Nice.
And he sets it down and he says, all right, well then, we've been content seeing ourselves as landlords so far. But if you can guarantee that you can put an end to this, I'll give you the weight of House Anserekh behind you. And we will seal a contract. And he's kind of dropping his, like, jovial bartender act now. Now he's just
Now he's serious, right? Yeah.
He's a mean drunk.
Mm-hmm.
I think because I'm drunk, I will say yes. And then I'm going to, like, hold out my hand and spit on it.
Uh-huh.
Because it's not clear to me yet that it's a ghost contract. It's just like my word, but it's about to be a ghost contract, I guess.
Yeah. And I think now your demon senses activate. As he speaks the name, he speaks like one of the lesser names of Serek, right?
Mm.
And you're too drunk to catch it. I think that's the other thing that alludes you here, part of the consequence. Otherwise, you might have been able to steal it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
And he claps a hand around yours, and you feel like the weight of chains settle in around your wrists. And for a second, it's as if you are being manacled. There's like a weight of iron all around you. And so there are two consequences of this. Well, there are multiple consequences of this, actually. One of them is you clear a wanted level.
Oh, that's so nice.
The other is your faction status with House Anserekh jumps to 2.
Great.
So you now only have 2 wanted levels. You're very close to a third, but for now you only have 2. And the third consequence, Saeeda, is that, I mean, he can only make a ghost contract with you, so he cannot bind the entire crew.
Yes.
But you are now obliged to hunt down the enemies of House Anserekh and turn over all information you have on them to the house.
Great.
Like, we have joked about you becoming the police before when you've been like a local security force in Bunderwest, but now you actually are. You are recruited into the secret police and you're bound by ghost contract to it.
Yeah.
I have a question about this, which is it enemies that House Anserekh knows about and tells Saeeda to hunt down, and Saeeda must do it? Or is it more like Saeeda must hunt down enemies, whether House Anserekh knows about them or not?
No, I think if it was House Anixis, it would totally be whether we know it or not, because they're sneaky, but House Anserekh is not. So I think they are just...
We might be one of those enemies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct. Yeah.
But yes, you feel the weight of this contract, and you are now a hammer in the hands of House Anserekh that they can bring down on those they wish to bring it down on. And unless you guys wiggle out of it, that's going to be your next score, because I think he has some way in mind in which you're useful, which is why he's doing this.
I think you should resist.
I think that I would like to not resist. I think I would like to resist it being our immediately next score. But I think it's interesting to have to do it because I think it sets us up for...
Okay, so if you resist this...
aim at Anserekh.
Yeah, if you resist this, I will give you 2 things. 1, you don't have to do it next score. He will be more patient. And 2, there will be a way for you to wiggle out of it if you resist it. Like, for now, it's a ghost contract in full force. But I think if you resist it, it's fair to say that you can find some way to break it.
Okay, I'm just going to expand Warden.
Okay.
Because it's a supernatural consequence.
Yep.
And so I think that's what it is. I think it's that the contract seems binding on his end, but on my end is not quite as binding as he would like. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right.
Do I get anything from him? Or is this the kind of contract where I'm contracted to provide services and he's contracted to continue living his life?
Oh, yeah. You got something very valuable from him. He took away one of your wanted levels.
Oh, yes. That's what I got from him. Okay, great.
Yeah.
No, that's one of our turfs.
Yes. It's okay. We're about to get it back. It's totally fine.
Yes. I just think, like, that the demon houses being able to take away wanted levels makes sense. That's within their purview.
Makes perfect sense.
And if you're now recruited by the secret police, well, the secret police are not looking for you that much. So, as much as they were.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, I think... then what will happen? Because I feel like then I don't know that anything else can happen in this scene. So I feel like maybe what we end on is like V understands that she can do nothing about this, that it is occurred in front of her, right? But at the same time, this is why you shouldn't drink and drive, is that if Saeeda had thought about this before opening their big dumb mouth, it may have been the same outcome, but we may have reached it in a less dangerous way, right?
Yes. I will also point out that there is one more consequence that you may potentially want to interfere in when we get back to you. I don't know. But that is that V knows about this, and V is absolutely going to let the Hive and other gangs know that you are in House Anserekh's pocket.
Yes. Okay. You know what? That's great. Yeah. When we come back, I got to deal with this woman. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for now, Bidrohi.
Yes.
We're having a duel against Thyrsus Adelaide, apparently.
I forgot that was the name.
Yes.
Thyrsus Adelaide, sure.
Yes.
Okay. I rush at him. He rushes at me. And I think first thing that happens is just we lock blades, and I want to get what's his fighting style?
Okay. Sure. You can study him mid-combat, if that's your angle. You lock blades. I don't think he's a badass enough fighter that he gets the upper hand on you here. Like, you're quite competent, so yeah.
No, I don't want to study him as such. It's more like, we fight before I make a roll. I just want to know what the fight looks like from his end, like how he fights.
The answer is dirty. This is not a guy who fights in any sort of showy or honorable way. This is a career criminal who fights to kill or incapacitate people. That's.
All right. And what's his weapon? He's got the serrated scimitar, and what's his offhand got? Anything?
I think it's like a dirk, like a simple stabby dagger. I don't even think he's drawn it, right? Because he's not like a super elegant and sophisticated fighter. I think it's more like you fight him, and his offhand weapon of a dirk is one of those things where it'll come up like. Presumably, what happens is you lock blades and then back off because you realize he's about to draw it and stab you in the stomach. That sort of vibe.
All right. Okay. Well, it's been a while since we had like a full-on duel. So, yeah, I've got my hooked sword, the Get3C Classic, right? The one with Mumtaz's name on it. I have my fine buckler with the blade held underneath. And, I think we do a little bit of dueling and so on. I think I don't know if I can dispatch him in like one roll or whatever, but I think like I think
let's give him a clock like the golem, but he's less tough.
Yeah, okay. So I think the first thing that happens is that we just kind of fight, and I want to sort of impress upon him and the crowd. So I guess like finesse, right? That I'm just the better fighter.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure. So basically, I'm not showing off as such. I'm not intentionally drawing it out. He's a tough guy, but I think in the way I get an upper hand, I don't just finish him off. Yeah. So it shows that I'm better at this.
Sure. Is the action still skirmish, you think, or is it sway? Are you trying to persuade him with swordplay?
I think it's finesse.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, I just look better,
Sure.
And let's see. Should it be a group action to also be seeing what's going on with my crew, or
no? I don't think there is. Okay. You took a devil's bargain of not knowing what's going on with them, which means they can't see this either. So.
Okay. Sure. Yeah. So what's the position effect?
I'm just going to call this risky standard with finesse, I think.
Risky standard.
And you will get the upper hand on him. He will know that you're the better fighter. He will react to that. But he won't finish the clock of defeating him, so it makes sense. And I think
standard is okay.
Like, he's a competent fighter, and this is deadly violence, but not all deadly violence is necessarily desperate, right? So, like, he could just harm you here. I think just taking harm is on the table, not being cut down if you fail.
Yep. I'm going to use dashing to do something with style.
Okay.
Push myself to do something with style.
Yep. Very fair.
Okay. Is there any way anyone can assist me? I will also point out that we have Bound in Darkness, which means anyone can assist from anywhere.
I will leave the floor open if anyone can assist Bidrohi here.
I can assist you by giving you advice on how to fight this man.
Okay.
Because I think that there is nothing more fitting than a teacher helping the student when the student is fighting what appears to be a rogue person. I think I said that in that way because rogue is a strangely very serious word where I come from, even though it just seems like a normal word. So I'm going to help you fight this rogue man.
Just a bloody rascal.
Yes, correct. Which
Mhm.
so
Okay,
I
cool.
will take one stress to help you, and I think what is happening is that even though, and perhaps you actually get a sense of what's happening with me also, which may or may not be good for you, is that you are hearing me give you the advice, right? Stand straight, like duck now, back, forward, that kind of thing.
Tell this miscreant he has the right to remain silent.
Okay, are you keeping it at risky standard?
Yeah. Actually, no.
Saeeda's
Fuck it.
advice
Let's go
is,
for let's go for desperate rate.
Okay, good.
So
you're
Saeeda's
right.
advice was to not do that, but
Yeah, you have
should
plus
ignore
one die
it.
from aid. Yeah, and you're pushing yourself, so I can't offer you a devil's bargain. So
Yep.
finesse plus 2 dice, desperate great. Very good.
Oh. Ooh, it's a 5.
Okay, and it was desperate great. You're listed as risky standard, but okay.
Yeah, I just didn't change it.
Okay, so what happens is that you have an epic sword fight with him. It's very clear that you're the better fighter. You inflict little nicks and cuts across him, and he only very lightly manages to graze you with that offhand dagger I mentioned. That dirk. It lashes out and leaves a slight slash across your wrist. And as he does, he backs off and he goes, "Parley, truce. All right, you let me and my boys go. Everyone lives. We go back to our homes, and I give you the antidote."
Okay. So
that's what's happening. He's poisoned you.
Is that harm? Is it a clock?
How I'm framing it is it's a level 3 harm, but it's not happening right now. So
Okay.
I don't think he has very lethal poison is extremely hard to get by in blades, even for the Hive. So I don't think he has something that can outright kill you, but he has something that can keep you in agony for days. So basically, it will be a level 3, unless you resist it, it will be a level 3 harm that's going to kick in effectively after this score. Because it's not that fast working. But he's a pragmatic man. He just wants him and his men to live. They're even willing to abandon this operation and back down now. But of course, then you leave the Hive with all of these guys who now know you.
Yeah. I don't want that. Yeah, so I think he steps back. He says parley. And the roof bolts are bouncing around everywhere, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of chaos going on around you. But I think you've stolen the show. Well, with the...
Yeah, I think this is so silly. I'm going to look at my... I'm going to look at the cut on my hand. I'm going to... Yeah, let's see how I can narrate this perfectly. I'm going to pluck out one of the roses from my hair. I'm going to twirl it around. I'm going to hold it in my finger. Then I'm going to kiss my hand and suck the poison out and spit it away, which doesn't actually do anything. It's just style points. I'm going to spit it away.
It may be the case that unless you do this correctly, you poison yourself also internally.
Maybe, yes.
And then I just spit the poison out, and then kind of... Well, I'm showing that I'm doing. You can't actually do this unless you have, I don't know, incredible sucking powers.
Sure.
I just throw the rose away, and then this is me kind of rejecting. This is me kind of in the midst of life and death. There's beauty, and I'm rejecting your plea, and we shall duel, sir. Sort of vibe. I don't know if this is even a roll or anything. I'm just throwing the vibe in.
Sure.
Yep. And then I rush in to finish the job.
Okay. Are you aiming to kill him?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And you're not resisting the poison then?
So what would resisting the poison do?
well, it would mean that you don't take a level 3 harm, you take a level 2 harm. Like, again, it doesn't kick in now, because I don't want to take you out of the fight, it's not interesting, but it will leave you after the score with a level 3 harm. Of like, intense agony.
The level 3 harm's quite annoying, isn't it? Yeah, let's just go for prowess, really.
Okay, so that means you're still poisoned, but you will only have a level 2 harm after this.
Yeah, let's go with that. See what happens.
Okay.
It's a 6. Doesn't cause me stress.
Good.
Yeah.
So note down a level 2 harm for now, just so it's not forgotten, but it doesn't apply yet. And let's call it just like intense pain.
Intense pain. Yeah. This also sets back my healing clock, but that's fine. And
Yes,
then I just rush at him. I got reflexes.
And are you aiming to kill him, or are you aiming to just take him out of the fight?
No, I think I'm aiming to kill him.
Okay. Vicious. The Hive does not approve of this, and
well,
yeah, all right.
I imagine they weren't approving of everything that came before.
No. But the Hive are pragmatic. They're not like, this is not a guy who cares about honor. So I'm just flagging it. Killing him sends a message.
Yeah, the message is. That was the message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
so I think it's standard effect. You can kill him in this situation. We have advanced this clock, and I think it's desperate because he is.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like,
sure.
In this situation, he's willing to scramble whatever he can to get out of this alive.
And so normally I have reflexes, which means I could bum rush him before he's ready. But I don't think I want to do that because that'll look cowardly.
Yes.
So I'll just say. So I've given him, my dramatic rejection of his plea has given him ample time to get ready, to know that something's coming. And then, I'm just going to dive with the buckler and the blade pointed at him and the sword kind of like coming in from behind. Coming in behind them. Just see what happens.
Yeah. Desperate standard it is.
Desperate standard, skirmish. I think I'm rolling skirmish. I forgot what I clicked on, but I would like to roll skirmish, let's say. Devil's Bargain, anything like that?
Okay. What's an interesting Devil's Bargain here? No, that doesn't quite work. That's more of a consequence. I think. Okay, Devil's Bargain is your. Nah, that doesn't make sense either with what we've established about your cohort. I actually don't have anything. I had 2 ideas, but they don't fit.
Does anyone else have one? I guess not.
Yep.
Right. I'll just push myself then. No assist from anyone either?
Fuck it, I'll assist.
Yes, please.
This is Clem's exact way. This is, I think, didn't you and Mushfiq right at the start of when Clem was introduced try this exact same tactic and fail? Clem taught you the right way to do it.
I think ours was different. Like it was, I think the 3 of us tried to attack you at the same time. Yeah, but I think it could still work. Is that okay for an assistance, Prince?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. It's a 5.
Okay, so you kill him, and I said he's willing to do anything to stay alive.
Yeah.
So what happens is you lunge forward and you misjudge the situation. Again, you can resist this, but you misjudge it completely. He moves his sword, you see it come in for an attack, you prepare yourself to swing faster, and then he throws it down and he goes, I fucking yield! And then you kill him.
That is
right in front of an audience of roof ballers and people looking on, and this is just straight up murder. He was giving up, he was giving himself up peacefully, and you killed him.
That means the narrative will no longer be on my side.
Yeah, that's your
and I'm all about
consequence.
that narrative. I'm all about that narrative. Damn.
Yep.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm going to resist.
Good.
Fictional justification is that I have reflexes.
Mhm.
So I think I'm the only one who sees that he goes like limp-wristed and is about to drop the sword, but no one else sees that.
Okay.
But it's too late
So-
for me to. I think actually I don't. It's too late for me to stop myself. Like I've launched. Like what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. All right. So you want to resist this in the sense that it's not obvious that he has surrendered, but you still know that you have killed the man who has surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Shit sucks, man.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
Yeah, that drowns me out. As it should.
Yeah, that traumas you out. Very good. I will also say then that the consequence here is just heat, because it's not like plain murder. So you will take 2 heat as a consequence instead, having resisted this, which gives you your 3rd wanted level back.
Yay! And
So
our
you
turf.
Yeah, so you take a trauma and a wanted level, which both make a lot of sense, given what's just happened.
Mm-hmm. And meanwhile, around us, is there like a comical cloud of bodies punching each other like cartoon characters?
Yes. Well, I think what's happened is that the rest of the Hive gang have also given up. Again, they're pragmatic. They know they're outnumbered. Your cohort got a crit. So they have just straight up surrendered, I think.
I think a lot of them are dead as well.
Yeah, that's quite possible, yes. Dead and or surrendered.
Yeah.
And let's return to the farm, where there's a brawl going on. Clem, then, you are being clobbered. Well, you're not being clobbered. You cancelled the clobbering.
Cancelled the clobbering. No, you.
Cancel culture is getting out of control, man.
Yeah. Just, yeah. If
Really?
this
Blades
was
is literally
modern day-
cancel culture.
Yeah.
You just keep resisting. You just keep canceling what the GM says.
Yeah, I mean, it's a problem.
No. Yeah, I think. So, what about the others? Is this just Tamira's bodyguard going, fuck it, I hate you? Or is it everyone as well?
So they were split on this, and most of them are not big fighters. But I think it's at least 2 people. It's Tamira's bodyguard, and it's the guy that your gang originally beat up. Like, obviously, he's in bad shape. And already injured and so on. But I think he's also the kind of guy who is, like, proud and adrenaline-fueled enough to get involved. Because, I mean, he was beaten up badly enough to send a message, but not badly enough to, like, kill him or cause him, like, serious harm, right? So he can participate, and so he is.
He can participate, so he is. Fantastic.
Yes. So he's coming at you with a pitchfork or something.
Who has ever needed a better excuse?
And I mean, the situation could escalate either way, right? For now, it's just these 2 guys attacking you, but if they gain the upper hand, absolutely more people would join in. So it's kind of a tense moment in that sense.
I'd love to assist in the situation, but I have traumatized out.
On the other hand, I have not traumatized out. And as previously discussed, Saeeda is just about drunk enough to start giving free advice to the fellow schoolmates.
So in the spectral group chat, it's Saeeda going, I love you guys. Is Saeeda a loving drunk?
Yeah. No, I think Saeeda's mostly a fighty drunk. But in this case, Saeeda's a fighty drunk in that in the group chat they're going, no, everybody forgets about footwork. Nobody remembers that footwork is the only thing that matters. It really annoys me.
Good. Footwork it is.
So I'm taking one rest. In the way that some people, I think, get on group chats and get really annoyed about how someone is managing Arsenal. I don't know who the current manager of Arsenal is, but whoever that is.
Yeah, that's the problem with Arsenal. They always walk
it's
it in.
Arteta? Oh my god. Sorry, please go.
Anyway, yes, Clem,
Yes.
you are getting assisted with your footwork.
Thanks, Saeeda. I appreciate this.
Yeah.
I think this is when my expert hunting friend, not a pet, because it is also a person, is going to descend from... Because that's spooky as hell, right?
Yes.
So it's back to back. And Clem is going to. Also have Glory Incarnate right now because of my success last session with
Yes.
the Lotus, and these guys
That's Glory
have
Incarnate.
forgotten.
Yes. Clem has a one-time use of channeling the Lotus God.
Can you please read out what Glory Incarnate says for the interested viewer, which is me?
Your deity manifests in the world, something to that extent. It's like a single-use thing in this
It
case.
like
because,
absolutely fucks you up, though, right?
well, all it says is your deity sometimes manifests in the physical world. This can be a great boon, but the priorities and values of a god are those not those of mortals. You have been warned. I mean, this is true, but also this god is just a little guy. How bad can it be?
It's just my little guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's my homie.
Okay, so to be clear here, Clem is channeling the Lotus God, who is one of the old little people from beneath the earth, and a screaming, many-handed bat from the sky at once.
Yes.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
This is not
I'm glad we could
normal,
clear
ordinary
this
man.
up.
Okay, I don't know what you're doing, but you have great effect doing it. Let's frame it like that.
I think it's just one final. They have taken the wrist of the man who would have tried to knock them out, and they just slam him into the ground and go, "This, I'm going to give you one last chance." And I think this is when the Lotus manifests through them, and its roots bulging out of their mouth and their eyes, like vines coming out of orifices they really shouldn't come out of.
Good. Okay. Right. What action is this? Is this command? Or are you just trying to subdue these people? Or is it
I think I feel like it's I suppose wreck would be could be correct here. Yeah, rather than just rolling command constantly.
Yeah, I think you're wrecking this guy. I don't know. Do you think this is fatal for him?
Oh, I'm soft. No, this is a message.
Yep. Okay. So you're just wrecking him to like kick his ass and send the message. Makes sense. Yep. Okay, so it's a wreck group action. You have great effect. You have your friend joining you in a group action, screaming down from the heavens. Yeah, and I think it is probably merely risky. I don't think this is desperate, because this guy is not that scary.
I'm going to turn it into Desperate Extreme. Because I think Clem, just completely gives themselves over. Like, they are half empty already.
Okay. So you're saying this is Desperate Extreme?
By giving them over to the Lotus.
Okay,
for just a moment.
All right. You already almost got bound to the land by this thing, so that's interesting.
It's totally fine.
Okay,
Which
so
is
with extreme,
okay.
yeah, with extreme effect, I think what you can get here, if Mushfiq is okay with it, or if Aadiyat is okay with it, rather, is you can also get them to call off the golem. With extreme effect, they just basically give up.
Do it. You hear a voice in your mind that may or may not be drunk Saeeda saying, if the war ends now, it would be great. In fact, I will literally take a stress right now so that all of the cultists can hear me just mutter to myself while a bit drunk. Wouldn't it be great if the war ended right now?
Good.
So, yeah.
Is there a devil's bargain here?
Yes. I think I can think of an interesting... Okay, this is weird, but it's the first thought that came up in my head. You already have, like, screwed up memory and weird shit going on. And you have forgotten some things. So you can take the devil's bargain of being convinced that this golem remembers something important you have forgotten. Somehow this golem has one of your memories. And it's an important one.
It's the memory of your divorce.
Uh-huh.
Memory of my...
Back. Tamira's like, oh, don't you remember divorcing me? Okay, this is to my advantage actually.
I mean, to be honest, everything is to Tamira's advantage.
Yes.
Mm.
I think getting
That's very
obsessed
true.
with this golem is an interesting. Then again, you have a bunch of obsession-themed things already, so maybe it's not that interesting actually.
I've got one. This is kind of fucked up. How about I change my vice?
Yes, that's good.
Nice.
To I think the reason this is a devil's bargain, I think, is because I'm going to fuck this guy up so much. I think this becomes an obligation to mirror, I guess.
Yeah, okay. Changing your vice to obligation to Tamira is amazing. Yes, I love that. That's a great devil's bargain. Please take it.
I retract my idea because it is not as good as this one.
Yes.
Guys, our revolutionary fervor is being destroyed.
No, you don't say.
By the very people who are like, oh, your ideas aren't revolutionary, actually. Let me tell you.
Yes. Good. Yeah, obligation Tamira is a perfect vice. You may have 1 bonus dice for taking this.
Fantastic. Okay. Desperate extreme. Don't fuck this up. 2 bonus die.
Yeah.
That is a 6.
That
so
is
I
a
don't fuck
6.
it. That's great.
Okay. Yeah. So you slam this guy into the ground. He doesn't die, but he does get very fucked up. The people back off. Like like this family have gotten the message, and one of them, an unassuming woman at the back, makes a little gesture, and the golem calms and stills. And Mushfiq, you see this. In one move, Clem seems to have cowed them all, and you see the artificer who's called the golem off. What do you do?
Okay, so they willing to just are they willing to surrender now or what?
Yeah, they are willing to surrender, so you don't like have to do anything. But how does Mushfiq react, right?
Well, I mean, so good question because I had to briefly get up, so I didn't get all of what Clem did here.
So what Clem did was invoke their flying friend, the bat from the Deathlands that swooped down and screamed, and then Clem basically just grabbed the guy attacking from behind, threw them to the ground, overwhelmed them with lotus roots from the lotus god, and was like, "Your god disapproves of what you're doing," and then everyone stood down because what the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? I mean, Mushfiq's seen some shit, and in fact has wrestled with this very bat monster before, right?
Yeah.
So, I think Mushfiq's reaction, an appropriate reaction in this case, I think for Mushfiq would be just frozen in place by the wax that's covering him.
Yes. Fair enough.
And maybe just then maybe if there's not much else to do here, maybe what Mushfiq is after all that happened, he was just frozen in place. Now he kind of just tips over, and maybe the wax breaks, and he gets back up, and he goes, and he does himself, and he goes, yeah, very good, yeah, everyone, lay down your arms.
This is some House of Wax shit.
Yes. And everyone does lay down their arms, like terrified at this onslaught that has been brought to them. And then you feel a pain surge up your elbow, like a phantom pain in your lost limb. And your prosthetic, like, speaks in your head, and it's quite painful. It comes up via the nerves conveying pain. This is not a normal way to communicate. And it says, "Make us whole." And you realize in that moment the golem's agony, because part of the golem is now in your arm.
Yeah, just bring that to me. I'll still sort it out. Don't worry.
So where you go? He asked, like, make you whole, like
make us whole was the message you get from your arm. And to flag this out of character, this is not like a command of something coherent at the moment. The spirits possessing your arm are panicking
Mhm.
and
Okay,
lashing out. But that's what they say.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I know what that means, I guess, like out of
Yeah.
character, but does Mushfiq know what that means?
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Your arm has not
Yeah.
spoken to you before, and it certainly hasn't done it in the language of pain. So.
Okay. Does Mushfiq get any kind of indication about what that means? Like, does he have a idea that?
I think you're pretty aware that there's something like possessing your arm. Yes, I think you would be familiar enough with demons and shit by now to know that that's a thing that can happen.
Yeah. All right. I think he Mushfiq can just go. Oh. I think as he realizes what happens, and he goes, "Oh God, fuck." Look. I think he just talks out loud to his arm as if it's a person. He goes, "Look, do you mind if we sort this out later?"
Yes, there is a susurrus from within, as if the arm is debating with itself, and it quiets down for now.
All right. Oh, very reasonable.
How does it feel to move it around?
Yeah.
Actually, I think
Does it respond?
I think my idea for this is it still responds, it still moves around, but it's one of those things where like you have spasms and twitches you didn't mean for it to do.
I just like the idea of that when you tell it like, can we talk about this later? It just kind of goes to sleep.
Yes. Yeah, probably that happens. There's like a numbness and a tingling as the phantom pains shift into pins and needles.
Yeah, so is there much else to do in this scene? I mean, it looks like we've
I
taken
don't think
over
so.
the car. Yeah.
Let's pivot back to Saeeda.
Saeeda made a horrible bargain. Clem did something eldritch and incomprehensible. Mushfiq got into a situation. I killed someone. Typical score.
Yes. So, Saeeda, you wanted to confront Vipayhar. I think that's the last thing we have time for.
Yes. So I think that I am going to. I have this glass of some kind of liquid in my hand, and I'm like, just like waving it around. It's not got any alcohol in it anymore. And I'm gonna point at Vipayhar, and I'm gonna say, right. So I imagine you can't wait to get out of here and tell everybody about this, right? I think that's where you're at right now. So I want you to remember one thing. This is a place of class and a place of discreetness. If it gets out that a meeting that was held here by one of the most exclusive, most important nobles in the city was leaked, I wouldn't even have to do anything about it. They would just destroy you because they can't afford for their reputation to be pushed like that. You understand that, right?
So I think you're saying this as Iskander has walked up and is mixing another drink for himself. I think it makes sense that he's not like necessarily overhearing this. Okay, perfect. I think it's a perfectly sensible, straightforward thing to do. I think it's risky standard. You can get her to shut up with standard effect. I think it's risky because there's some risk involved.
That makes sense. This feels like a command to me, but it could be a sway.
Yep, it could be a sway. I think.
I have 3 dice in both, but this like intimidate or threaten is command is intimidate or threaten. This is charm, logic. I feel like it's more force of first medicine. This is more like you do this and your legs will get broken. So command, I will lose a die because I'm drunk.
Yes.
And I gain no dice from anything because this is actually like a very normal thing to say. And I have built this character to only do well when they do batshit crazy things.
You can push yourself to compensate for the penalty, I suppose.
No, I mean, it's fine. Like I
have a devil's bargain for you.
Oh, go on.
So this charming, handsome translator who's been here all this time and has been watching.
He's also a Bakshi. No, I don't
know. No, he's not also a Bakshi. What I'm going with is, so you're trying to prevent like the serious shit from being leaked. But this guy moves in Bidrohi's circles, and he will leak you being
Ah.
drunk and incoherent to Bidrohi.
Oh no! I cannot describe to you how irritating it is to me that this genuinely is a devil's bargain that I'm like, maybe I don't want to take this.
Yes, well, you
Because-
don't have to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
next
it
time,
seems like
let's go.
such a
You know, there's
small
these
cost.
bars. There are these bars that I know. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think that it's very funny if it gets out, but in about one session, when this decision comes back to bite me in the ass, I'm going to be really irritated with my past self.
Okay, so are you taking
I'm
it or
going to make
not?
a note to
I'm
myself.
taking it. I'm
Okay.
taking
Take
it. Yeah.
Saeeda out.
Yes.
Hmm,
So,
hmm,
to
hmm.
just summarize this briefly in a rare flash forward, Bidrohi, this translator, I don't know who he is, but he is going to like come to you, and it's one of those like you've run into each other at parties, you don't know each other that well, but he's going to come to you and be like, hey, isn't that Saeeda your ustad? You won't believe how drunk he got.
Yes.
Actually, I would very much believe it.
Mhm.
Indeed.
And he's
Yeah.
going to relate to you a very embellished story about how she like chatted up Iskandar Anserekh while drunk and etc.
Yeah.
Saeeda auntie has a tip. What can I say?
Great. I hate this. Risky standard one. No, sorry. Standard dice.
Mhm.
Because I gained the die that I lost
Yep.
for being drunk.
Mhm.
It's a 5, which is
Okay.
fine. I would take
So, Vipihar will keep this information under wraps.
Mhm.
I think that much is fair and clear. And so, what is a mixed consequence here? I feel boring piling more heat onto you.
Yeah, I feel like heat is also dull.
Mhm.
Is there
So-
something Iskander related?
Yes. Yeah, I think that makes. I think that makes sense. Okay. How about this? This would ordinarily be like a more of a desperate thing, but it's sort of in between. I think what we'll do is we will add Iskandar to your sheet as a rival. And the reason he's a
Oh.
rival is not, that he's in any way sabotaging you, but he takes a
Yeah.
personal interest in you from this, right?
Yes.
So not only do you have a ghost contract, but now he also has a personal interest in keeping an eye on you. I guess because he overhears this and he's like, this person actually seems quite savvy at manipulating other criminals. That could
Yes.
be bad.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
so
I think
Iskander
this makes
becomes
sense.
your soft rival unless you resist it.
I think that's fine. I love having two rivals: the Ustad Jeklev, Iskander Anserekh.
Yes, who
Yeah.
I will point out is in charge of the Anserekh secret police, which...
Well, Ustad Jeklev can take on the Empire and then walk it off.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of
Yeah.
Ustad Jaklev, when are you going to have your sexually charged duel to the death with him?
listen to me. I have to burn this table first.
I am so pleased with that Jyklev has never ever been on screen. We have
But
not
he's such a
seen him.
problem.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
We gotta make it happen.
Yes. All right. That's the score, everyone.
Nice.
Excellent.
there's payoff.
Magnificent. Yes.
Great.
And other consequences, like,
Mhm. Yes.
but mostly payoff. So, first of all, what sort of claim is this? It's
I
a
would like
claim,
turf.
clearly. Okay.
I-
Turf
I think
makes
turf
sense.
makes the most sense. Yeah, because we aren't going to make it's a harvest, right? So we aren't going to make money, and we don't want to make money, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be one of those.
No, turf
so I
just
think
makes
turf-
sense. Yeah, it just establishes you as owning stuff in the city.
It also
Right.
means Gilly Gilly Gully is our hunting grounds,
Yep. So that's
which is
three wanted levels worth of turf plus one turf.
We have actual turf now, guys.
Uh-huh.
Isn't that
Yeah.
nice?
that is nice.
So,
Do we
I
make
think,
money?
yeah, I think it's interesting to get a little bit of coin for this. So it was a battle, so you get 2 coin for that from your
Mhm. Grateful
your thing.
citizens.
grateful citizens, yeah. And then I think, let us say that you get, let's say that you get 2 coin on top of that, the smallest amount of payout, because I think that makes sense. You're taking, there's very little tangible goods here, right? And you're letting them keep the farm, it's just they work for you, and etc.
Yeah.
But there's still a little bit of profit off of this.
Okay. Should we pay off the Fursan? We owe them 3 coin.
I think it makes perfect sense to do that in this situation, because you are security and you're quelling a
Yeah.
gang war. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the repercussions for not doing it would be quite dire. So you get 1 coin actually for the crew,
Yeah, let's put that in the vault.
but you do get the turf.
Mhm.
Then you also get rep. You hit the hive, so it's 3 rep total because they're 1 higher than you, which puts you up to stronghold actually.
Nice.
So let me adjust that. You are now at 1 rep, but
Just
stronghold.
did that. Just did that. Yep.
Yep, cool.
Nice,
and then, and then we're talking. I changed my mind about the coin a little bit. Let's give you 2 more coin. And the reason for that, I realized, is that sure, you're stopping the drug trade, but there's still drugs here that you could sell. So.
Oh yeah,
Like-
we could just sell the drugs we've got. Yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I see. I think it's very interesting that we sell the drugs instead of burning them. I think
Yeah.
we're pragmatic that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, let's
And we
frame
haven't-
it that way. Yeah, you can have 2 coins worth of drugs. You can sell them or get rid of them. But
Yeah, I think we'll also establish that we are personally not averse to drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are these is this poppy, is it? Or is it
Yeah.
something?
I went with opium as the
Or black lotus, as they're called in the
That's
setting.
or black
because-
lotus. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, let's sell it to bad people.
Uh-huh.
Well,
Right.
is this something we should talk about? Because I mean, selling, coming into possession of a bunch of opium and then deciding what to do with it makes sense. We don't have to do it in character.
Yeah.
But
I think it's interesting actually. Let's frame it this way then. I will offer you even a deal where you can get mechanical advantage either way. It's either 2 coin for selling it,
Mhm.
or it's 1 rep for destroying it, because I think the community does approve of that. Like technically the 2 coin are worth more, but it's also a bit telling, right?
no, I
Yeah.
think rep is worth more because it's
Yeah,
harder
I think
to get.
I think Clem would come straight down on burning the crop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And burn
I
the crop
don't
and take
think
1 more rep.
Saeeda cares. Yeah,
I still
so-
think it makes sense for you to get some sort of reward for burning the crop, and I think a rep is logical.
Yep. Let's
Just
do
make
it.
Okay,
Yep.
that's that then. So you barely have enough to pay rent, but it covers
Alright.
it. And
We
then
got
heat.
money. Mhm.
So this was
Yes.
not wild and devastating, but it was loud and chaotic.
Okay.
Like, I think
That's
we
a
can't
baseline
argue
of
that it
what?
was anything else. So it's a baseline of 4 heat.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it didn't happen on hostile turf. They were not hostile to you yet. You're not at war. Was this a high profile or well connected target? The Hive kind of was, but the Dilkusha Bakshis, no. But killing was involved. So-
Well, we met with House Anserekh Scion.
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, but was he a target? I don't really think so. He was more of an asset.
Okay.
So,
He was unfortunately not like. I mean, we went into it aggressively, being like,
mhm.
"Beat by heart is the problem."
Okay.
So I think, yeah.
Yeah, but killing was involved, so it's 2 more. So it's 6 heat actually. Which
And
means that
guns
you're
were
3
involved.
Heat. Yeah, and guns were involved, so 1 more for that. True. So you're 2 heat away from a 4th wanted level.
So
Nice.
we basically ended up where we started.
Yes.
Fantastic.
I'm
Uh-huh.
going to roll.
Yep. Please roll entanglements.
That's a crit.
I love to roll 2 sixes.
That's an
The
arrest.
table
That's
doesn't even
amazing.
matter.
Yeah, that's an
Sorry.
arrest.
Come get me. Come get me, bro.
Yeah, and I think Bidrohi is the only person who makes sense.
Yeah.
It's-
Come get me.
uh-huh.
I'm ready.
Mm.
So, pay them off with coin equal to your wanted level plus 3, hand over someone for arrest, or try to evade capture.
I'm ready
What are
to
we
go
going
to
for?
jail. I'm ready to go to jail.
I think given that Bidrohi is literally ready to go to jail, I think that's fine. And I think it actually also demonstrates to Anserekh that we are not against sending our own into jail.
It also
because
just makes the most sense that it's Bidrohi, because for all the wrecking that Clem and Mushfiq did, they didn't actually kill anyone, whereas Bidrohi just killed the guy in the street. Like, sure,
in front of everybody.
it was from everyone's point of view, it was in self-defense, but it was still just in
It's
front of
still
everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mhm.
And I think mechanically we can be like, oh yeah, jailbird. But in actuality, he's going to jail in that place. So
I mean, as well, because Bidrohi knows he killed in cold blood too.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so shall we do the incarceration roll?
Yes.
So,
So
Okay.
you are at wanted level 3, but you have jailbirds who lower it, so it's still several months in jail.
yeah.
So it's a tier roll, which is 2 tier. We also have Fursan contacts, which gives us +1 tier in prison.
Yeah.
So that's one more That's a bonus dice.
And then you have Jailbird, so that's one more. So it's 4 in total.
4 dice.
Does
So
jail-
please roll 1.
Does Jailbird give an extra dice? I don't think it does. Does
Yeah.
it?
Your
Does.
tier counts as 1 more.
Yeah,
So
you count as
functionally
tier
it
3.
does end up. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you're
Well.
tier 3 plus 1 for first on contact.
This is a lovely roll to get a crit press on also, so I suggest repeat the previous roll.
Well, you roll a 6,
It's a 6.
which means you do your time well. Your crew gains a prison claim and +1 faction status with the faction you assisted while you served inside. You get an additional +1 faction status with the faction you helped while on the inside. We will, you know what, let's write this down. Let's deal with this next session. I feel like this
That makes
might make some thought. So you have 2 +1s to dole out. You also have a prison claim that you can collect.
Mhm.
But the fact of the matter remains that, you go to jail for this. You do clear a wanted level, though. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think in the payoff section, in the XP section and so on, let's discuss what we want to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
yes.
Okay.
So you, in this section, I want to point out, you lost 2 wanted levels and gained 2 wanted levels.
Correctamundo.
Yeah.
Time
That's
is a
interesting.
flat circle.
Uh-huh. But that ends our payoff phase. We know that Bidrohi is going to jail. We know that the crew has acquired some turf. We know that the crew now has strong tier 2. So like you're established as a gang now. And we have avoided any repercussions with the Hive. So I think the only thing that happens is the Hive ticks down to a -1. They don't like you, but they can't really do anything about it meaningfully. Right? So I think you've minimized, like they're the faction you hit, but I don't think you take worse than a -1 with them,
Makes
which
sense.
is about as well as it can go.
Yeah.
You were also bumped up with House Anserekh. Do you think any other factions are affected by this?
If we are continuing to, because the Bob is invested in us continuing the drug trade. So if we're choosing to stay in the status quo and cutting them in maybe more. Yes.
Yeah, but you burn the
Otherwise,
drugs, so
yeah, in which case it feels like maybe we lose status with them a bit.
yes,
Right,
I think so.
because
That makes sense.
yeah.
It's not the thing which they would go to war with you over, but what
Yeah,
was an alliance is weakened a bit. So the Lockporters are now neutral to you. You still know
that
them, but they're not willing to do you any more favors after
That-
this.
yeah.
Okay. So we will continue next session with some downtime and some discussion of where we go next. But for now, for non-Patreon listeners, we bid you adieu, and we hope to see you in the next episode of Desperate Attune.
Bye-bye.
Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Saumitri, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
Next time on Desperate Attune.
It's an apartment quite near to my own residence, so that you can be on hand if ever I have need of someone more skilled than Dinish's brother. And I think she actually called him Dinish's brother because fuck him.
Long-term project to find out his actual name.
Sabrina's a terrible woman, and I love her.
Yes.
It's Pride Month, baby. You're allowed to be as terrible as you want to be.
Lovely.
This is very much a support women's wrongs kind of situation.